All right, here we go. Happy Wednesday. How are we doing? Let me make sure we got sound. I can hear myself. I can hear me. You can hear me. Well, I don't know if you can hear me, but I know I can hear me. Anyways, here we are. It's almost halfway. We are almost halfway through the month of October. How about that? Trying to get myself pulled up here on the old YouTube. Anyways, we are going old school. We are going classic. We are going Mickey Finn. That's what we're tying. The Mickey Finn streamer. There's a million and one videos out there on how to tie this. So I guess this is just going to be another video in the pot. But we're going to tie a few of them here tonight live. We're going to tie, as always, I don't know, kind of seems to be like how I do things. I like to start off more or less traditional with it, and then we like to see what kind of spins we can put in on it, what kind of variations or variety. I always like exploring and going down the rabbit hole of colors, color combinations. I don't know. I think that's one of the beautiful things about something like this pattern, the Mickey Finn, because it's super simple, super basic. You'll see how it is when we get through it. But you can always, I don't know. There's all sorts of color combinations you could go with. It's virtually infinite. So, anyways, here we are. Here you are. How are we doing out there? We'll give it a few minutes, let people come on in, check in. I always enjoy reading and seeing what people are writing in the chat. Let's see what else. Yeah, holy smokes. A few more weeks till the election, the presidential election. Be sure to exercise that right if you can. Get out there and do the thing that you're supposed to be doing, and that's called voting. Um, it's interesting how we can sit here and say this is what's destroying us, that's what's destroying us. It's those people's fault, those people's fault. Yet, a good majority of the people aren't even exercising that voice. So I don't know. Do your thing. Get out there, vote. That'll be my official stance. It's coming up. I know there's a lot of places doing early voting. There's a lot of places like here in Minnesota. I can request an absentee ballot, fill it out, and submit it all in the same sitting. If you wanted to go to your local county office or whatnot. And I requested mine via computer, and they mailed it to me, and I filled it out, and then I just dropped it off. Anyways. Well, Pops is in the house. Good evening, Richard. If nobody has put two and two together, Richard Husingfeld is my father, and he says he caught a boatload of trout out of Henry's Lake in Idaho on a Mickey Finn. Well, awesome. Then we know it works. It's one of those patterns. It's just, I don't know, it's kind of like folklore. It's kind of like a woolly bugger. It's been around forever and a day. And, yeah, I don't know. Let's slide over to the bench, and we are going to tie some Mickey Fins. At least, like always, it's how I tie it. I don't think it should ever necessarily, I will never say, anything that I tie is the be-all, end-all of way to tie anything. Because, I just don't think that would be a fair statement with any fly, any pattern. So, here we are, Mickey Finn time. Alright, so I tied one earlier, and I really like this hook. And this is a TMC 9395 and a size 4. 25 pack. forged eye. That's a 3x heavy, 4x long. Now what's interesting, we'll get one of these hooks out of the bag, and we'll get that propped up in the vise. Now remember what that package just said. It said it was a, what did it say? It said it's a 3x heavy, 4x long. And I just want to compare that to this hook, which is very similar, I think, in shape, and actually also almost in size. This is a barbless hook. This is a moonlet. You know, same gauge wire supposedly, not exact same gauge wire, but same thing, or not quite same thing. This is a 3x long, 1x strong. So just comparing what they're calling strong and heavy, you know, this is a 1x strong, 3x heavy, 3x long, 4x long. Well, let's get these two side by side. They're both a size 2, or this is a size 2 and this is a size 4, but comparatively speaking, I mean, those wires are very close. Try to line up the eye. But, you know, it just goes to show that, you know, if it's not the same brand, if it's not the same hook, you know, you're not necessarily comparing apples to apples. So, you know, just something to be aware of. There's no right or wrong way. It's just like the fly itself. It should always just be relative to itself. And proportions, I think, is, you know, one of those few, I don't know, golden rules that I believe in. You know, keep your proportions right, keep portions right, and you know, you're setting yourself up for success. So anyways, here we are. We got our size for hook in the vise. Bing bing. And again, that was a TMC 9395 I'm using on this. I like the bend. I like the long shank. There's a lot to like about this. Anyways, Danville, it's a 210 denier. Label's a little buggered up. Flat wax. And I'm going with a red. And just like everything, or most flies, we're going to start up front. And I'm not going to choke up too close on the eye of that hook yet. We're going to leave ourselves plenty of room. We do not want to crowd the eye. Aye. Alright, we're going to lay a little bit of a thread base. We can kind of space these out a little bit. There's going to be a few more layers going on top, so we don't necessarily have to worry about hitting every square inch of that. But I do want to spin my thread a little bit counterclockwise or anti-clockwise. I just want to flatten it out a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, mind the tip of the hook, and I'm going to go down the bend a little bit. And then I'm going to go back up. I'm not sure if the red tag end is part of the bona fide original pattern or not. Maybe one of the old timers can tell me. How about it, Dad? Did your Mickey Finn have a red tag back in Idaho on Henry's Fork or Henry's Lake? All right, let's get ourselves some wire, and we're gonna use some flash for our body. Wire, I wish I had a little bit. You know what? I think I might actually have a little bit larger of a silver wire. That's gold, copper, red, green, black, copper, orange. It's a medium silver. yeah. I tied one earlier and I used a smaller silver wire. But I like the look of the ribbing. So this versus that, comparing the size, we're going to go a little bit bigger than what I tied with earlier. Anyways, I'm going to lay this wire out so it goes almost the full length, because that's going to help us keep the body nice and even. And guess what? That's going to add just a little bit of weight. So we'll start laying that down nice and tight. And I'm going to actually have that wire on the near side of the hook. That's where I like to start it. We'll wrap our way all the way in. And we want to keep our thread relatively flat throughout this process because we want our body to be relatively uniform and even in size and shape. And if your thread kind of balls up, rolls up, and becomes super tight, then you're going to lose that. Alright. So, in lieu of just a flat, wider tinsel, what I have found that works best for me in my applications, what would work best is if you had a mylar. Usually it comes with a gold on one side and a silver on the other side. But I actually am just going to take some silver Flashaboo. And let's go with, I don't know, half a dozen strands or so. Let's see, 3, 6, I don't know, half a dozen, 8, thereabouts more or less. I wouldn't go any less than 6 though. Alright, this is going to be our body. So this we can tie right in at the very end, long part hanging out the back end. And we want to get as much of this on there as possible, or as much working length as possible. Sometimes you might have to wet it a little bit, because this stuff loves to catch a little bit of static and drift away. I don't know. Alright, let's go ahead and work this forward, capturing all that nice and even. Even Steven is the name of the game, at least for me. I try to keep it as even as possible. Okay, so I'm going to wet my fingertips. I'm going to wet this Flashaboo, and it'll kind of stick together a little bit better, opposed to it being just completely dry. Alright, so I'm going to palmer this forward, overlapping wraps. What I'm going for is coverage. I'm looking for full coverage. I want to hide the red is the name of the game. Maybe a turn or two back there, and then we can just kind of work our way forward. Nice and tight, nice and flat. Nice and tight, nice and flat. Overlapping. Easy does it. And I'm sliding it in my fingertips. I'm grabbing it and I'm just pulling it and I'm sliding it away. I'm pulling towards me and pulling away from me. Trying to do this with hackle pliers, just grabbing a pinch of it, it's not going to work out the same. You really have to keep constant tension. As we know, like we've said before, slack is evil. So don't be a slacker. And if you lose it just for a half a second, if you lose your concentration, lose your grip, you're gonna have to back up. All right, we'll take a couple locking wraps, nice and tight. Bada boom, bada bing. Don't have to go too bananas because we're gonna counter wrap with this medium wire, and this will give us a little insurance policy on that Flashaboo we just wrapped. Nice even wraps. I like to space mine out about an eye's width, an eye's length, thereabouts. That's usually a good kind of an eyeball. How do you eyeball it? Think eye. How many eyes do you have? Well, the hook has one, so we'll space out our wire as such. Here we go. Get right up there. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright, we'll lock this off with some locking wraps on the back side. And especially with this medium wire, trying to helicopter this off, you're going to hurt yourself. Get yourself your nippers and give it a nice little trim. If you don't have nippers, open that jaw of the scissors and go all the way back to that screw and nip it off there. Save your sharp scissors for fine detail. All right. So there's our red tag end, and there is our silver body. I suppose if you wanted, you could add a little dab of lacquer over all that, or a thin layer of Solarez bone dry or whatever. I don't think that's entirely necessary, and I think by doing so, what you do, you got to think about fluid dynamics and junk like that. You don't have to, but what that does is, right now as it sits, we've got the ribbing, and you can hear that. That's giving us some resistance, and when this is in the water, it's gonna do more than just add a little sparkle. That's actually gonna swim and push the water around it a little bit differently than if it was smooth, if it was entirely smooth. So, all right, here we go. Continuing on, we need to add ourselves a wing, and the wing for this will be a combination. 2-part yellow, 1-part red bucktail. We're going to do a under of yellow, followed by a middle of red, followed by a top of yellow. So yellow, red, yellow. And that's what we're going to go for our first one. That's going to be our quote-unquote kind of our traditional. If you like tradition, then this is the combination for you. We need to move a couple of our hair stackers away. I don't know, I need a lesson on bench organizations. I just need to clean up after myself. That's the reality. I got all sorts of fur and junk. I just need to move out of the way here real quick. There we go. Not you, we'll save you. That's a good scrap. And that's the problem. Everything's a good scrap. Not everything can be a good scrap. Alright, so with our bucktail, you have some options. If you trim your bucktail from the actual butt section, from the lower, we'll call it the lower third, that hair is going to be a little hollower, and when you get thread tension on it, you're going to get a little bit more flare. As you work your way down towards the tip of the tail, you're just going to get less flare as you draw down on it. This will kind of behave and react a little bit more like a deer belly hair, or something that you would want to use to spin to get some flare. In fact, I've come across some patches of bucktail that this section right here, this little clump, would just be absolutely perfect for spinning and getting some flare or whatnot. So, but we're gonna harvest ours kind of towards the tip. I don't like taking it necessarily off the tip because I'm gonna save that for a project that would call for really lengthy straight bucktail that doesn't have too much flare. So up towards the top, up towards the tip, we're gonna grab well, the reality is just like I say almost every week, sparse is narce, right? Sparse is narce. So we're gonna take a small clump, I don't know, If you grabbed it, it would feel maybe like a spaghetti noodle when you first clip it right there at that butt section. But we got to clean this off. Let's go ahead and roll it between your backhand or whatever and just give it a little twist, and that'll help free that up. If you want to brush, you can brush. If you want to comb, you can comb. If you want to stack, you can stack. If you don't necessarily have to. No one's going to make you. But I'm going to stack. If I can find the appropriate stacker. I've got this one is not the one I want. No, there it is. Hanging out behind the beverage. Alright, helicopter that in. Tips down, not the cut butt section. We're going to go tips down. Kind of spiral that in. Just about like so. Tips down. Just a couple knocks. Don't have to go bananas. Alright. So let's start laying our wing down. Okay, that would be our one. If we just did it, just a straight, just a one hookus length, that's where we would be. But I'm going to go out just a tick past that. A hook, not quite a hook and a half, but maybe a hook and a bend, hook and a gap. Looks good to me. Alright, I'm going to go once nice and tight and twice nice and tight. Lift that up. I'm going to go one under there. And we're going to go back up top. And we just want to make sure we keep this parked right on the top. Because it's a wing, not a side wing. Alright, next, let's add our red. A little dab will do ya. You don't need too much. And we're going to grab this bucktail about from that same position. Not quite the tippy tip top, but closer to the top than the bottom, because we don't want to get too much flare. And again, we're not going to need too much. Just grab a little dab. Alright, we'll clear out that butt section. Brush it if necessary, comb it if need be. Alright, so we're going to stack this as well. Not much. Sparse as nice. Keep it in there. Tips down. And we'll give that a little rattle in the knocker and the hair stacker. Or as our good friend Kristen would call it, the hair shaker. Alright, Josh is in the house. He forgot what day it was. Boy, you and me both, man. I have my alarm set. You think because you do something every week, the same bat time, same bat channel, you think you'd remember? Listen, man, I panic about it just as much as you probably just did. Went, whoop. Alright, we're going to lay this out, same length. We're going to go about that same length. Just going to grab that once, twice. Don't need too much. We're doing good. Doing good, Batman. Alright, let's go ahead and wash, rinse, repeat with our yeller on top. Our topmost wing. And, you could if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. If you did, the result would probably be, as I'm about to describe, if you just took the bucktail and, set it on your lap or set it on your bench and try to just stack this all in your hand or whatever and then tie it on, one of the things you're going to come across is everything's just going to get mixed together, especially when you start lashing it on. Clear out that underfur. I can't stress that up enough. You really want to keep that nice and clean. Alright, tips down with the stacker. One last time. And a couple of knocks. Doesn't need much. Don't have to go too bananas with it. Alright, we'll match that on the back end. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Alright, I parked my thread right underneath, and I'm going to come in with my scissors and right at the behind the eye, working my way forward, we're going to chop that off at an angle. And we're going to do that at an angle to prevent ourselves from getting a ledge. We want a nice smooth head up front. Work our way back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to take a couple of wraps directly behind and underneath. And what that'll do is that'll help us flare that out. Alright. I like the look of a nice clean black head up front. And I am tying with a red thread. And what do you think the solution is going to be for that? Because we started with the red thread because I like that red tag end on mine. Personal preference. What we're going to do, I don't want to go too far back. We're going to take ourselves our black marker. Too easy. Too easy. I prefer the these Pro markers. They are alcohol based. And instead of actually just coloring it on the head, nay, that would be too easy. I'm going to color my thread. And I'm going to work my way from the back of the head forward on my final wrap. And this really illustrates and shows me the amount of coverage that I'm getting as I'm progressing forward and building that thread head. Now, after this is all said and done with, I can go back and touch up a spot if I need be. But there we are, that last wrap on our way back from the back end up front. We just changed the color of our thread from red to black. We'll do our whip finish and cinch that down nice and tight. Alright, and plus what that did is that, you know, anything kind of that might have been exposed or whatever underneath, it's red. We like red. Alright, let's add our head cement. Again, I really like the look of the, you know, the nice, crisp, clear, black head up front. You know, if you went with like a Sally Hansen's or something, it's not going to give you that nice, crisp, clear coat. You might have to do a layer or two. So we're going to come in with some Solarez Bone Dry, and word of caution, if you use any kind of marker on your thread and you go to use a head cement, whether it be Solarez or whether you're doing it off of the tip or Zap-A-Gap or something, that is going to leach off and it will contaminate the bristles on your brush if you brush it on. So to avoid that, I'm going to come in with my bodkin. And just a little dab will do us. And that'll soak in there and spread around. Kind of really mimics that lacquered, that fully enclosed, engulfed, lacquered look. And I suppose if you were the bee's knees, you could even add yourself some painted on eyes. Let's get this set. Set it and forget it. This is more or less how I tie just a basic, it's a hair wing streamer, Mickey Finn. give that a couple seconds to set, and that'll be it. All right. The Mickey fin I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, the Mickey fin. Questions, comments, concerns. What do we think about it? Kind of a small crowd tonight. I have to cough here for 1 second. But we're glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. We're all here because we're not all there. Mickey Finn, what do you think? I know there's always a few seconds, at least a 30-second delay on the chats and what I can read and yada 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 yada. But let's see here. Okay, now I see where it's going. So, Dad, how's that compare to the Mickey Fins of Idaho? Pretty standard. Pretty easy. I think we're going to go ahead and tie ourselves another one. What do you say? Maybe we'll do a different color. No, I kind of, you know, it's hard to go too far from the original. Maybe I'll tie one more red and yellow, and then maybe we'll see about doing another color combination possibly. We just got to keep our eye on the time. A 5-pound cut. Good Lord, that's a big old fish. Huh. All right, let's go ahead. I need to find a cork. Put this big boy on. Really like the way that ribbon comes out. Anywho, let's go ahead and tie ourselves another one. Almost as big as I was at the time. I was almost a 5-pounder. I'm sure I was bigger than a 5-pounder. I've always been bigger than a 5-pounder. Well, maybe. All right, let's go ahead. Find our hooks. Where did I put those? There they are. All right. Here we go. Start our thread up front. We'll lay a little thread base. Hook is a TMC 9er 9er or... Oh, we got to turn this guy off. Get rid of the back of my head. Nope, not that one. This one. See ya. Alright. Spin our thread counterclockwise, anti-clockwise, whatever you prefer. And we'll lay our little flat thread base. We're not too concerned about covering every square inch, but we do want to lay a nice little thread base. Flattening our thread as we get towards the rear. And when we get to said rear end, we can really make sure we got that nice and flat. So we're going to work our way down the bend a wee little bit. Mind the tip of the hook. Nothing will break that thread faster. Nice and tight. Some might even say a guten tight. Alright, there's our red tag end. Why is it back there? I don't know. Looks good. You could even use a maybe a little dab of, maybe we could do this too. Sometimes you see a little dab of red wool, a little bit of yarn sticking out of the back end instead of down the tail. Maybe we'll do that on the next one. See how that looks. But you can't go wrong, in my opinion. I am H.O. In my humble opinion, you cannot go wrong with adding a little dab of red in a fly. Alright, let's come in with our medium silver wire. We're getting down to the little dabs, getting down to the end there. I have to order some more. Alright, line that up. Have that go the full length. Alright. What am I doing here? We're going to tie that all the way in. Nice and even on the side. I like to do it on the side. Partially because, guess what? I can see it when it's on the side. Alright. Set our wire off to the back side, let that sucker hang out. We'll get our thread back to that rearmost side. Flatten that thread. Spin that bobbin counterclockwise. Name of the game, nice and even. Alright, so in lieu of our, because I'd probably go with a medium tinsel, but I don't have a medium silver tinsel, so I am going to use a small clump of Flashaboo. And I think with enough practice, enough efforts, you can get them to come out pretty darn slick. Can't go too bulky with it. Can't go too thin with it. I'd say about 6 to 8. Maybe 10. I'm going to tie these in. Right there on the back side. And we'll work our way all the way forward with our thread finally. Alright. Go ahead and wet your fingertips. Moisten your Flashaboo. You don't want to just suck on it. Who knows what that's made out of, actually. In a general sense, you don't want to cross-contaminate your fly tying materials with your mouth. That's nasty. But we'll take overlapping wraps. We'll get full coverage. And usually this Flashaboo's nice and long enough. You don't have to really worry about running short. And if you do run short, then I think you might be wrapping it a little bit too thick, Or another thing to also consider is the diameter of whatever you're wrapping. So say you had some lead wraps underneath there or some lead-free wraps. You got more bulk to work your way around. Therefore, it's going to use a little bit more material each time it wraps around. If that makes sense. All right. Nice close trim. And there it is. That is our silver body. I used P.H.W.F.F. Most recipes are probably going to call for a silver mylar. Usually comes two-sided, gold or silver. In that case, you would want to tie it initially so the silver side or the gold side was out. That way, when you start wrapping it forward, you end up with the silver side out. But we're going to take our counter wraps with our medium silver wire, about the same width as your eye of the hook, more or less. And again, the name of the game is Even Steven. What's interesting about this wire is once you actually bend it around the shank of the hook, that sucker ain't going nowhere. Alright. We're at the front end. Let's go ahead and secure this. Christmas tinsel works too. Yep. That's probably what that was that's originally what P.H.W.F.F. originally was, I believe. Before they went into full-blown production with it. Alright. And that is that. Alright. Let's see, were we going to do we're going to do another standard. And I'm sure, like most, if I go back to the archives and go back and look at some of my very first attempts at the Mickey fin, I guarantee you, and I'm sure I fished it and lost it or something, but I definitely guarantee you I got the color combination backwards at least once. How it's quote-unquote should be, in theory, is red, yellow, yellow, red, yellow, like we had before. But dollars to donuts, I guarantee you that there's plenty of people that have red with yellow in the middle. It happens. And you know what? If you tie it that way, fish it. That's what I would do. Alright, again, we're going to grab our bucktail, not quite at the tip. We're going to come down just a little bit. And after you trim it off, it should feel, I don't know, about the diameter as your bodkin needle. Not quite, you don't need much. Grab it by the tips. Clean, clean, clean. Alright, where'd that hair stacker go? There it is. Helicopter that joker in. Tips down. I'll have to scare the neighbors with it, just a light tap. Alright, let's figure out where we want to set this wing. Alright, there's kind of, just about, if it was just a standard one hook's length, we're going to go just a little bit past that. I like the look of that. Maybe a hook and a bend, hook and a gap. One, two soft wraps to capture it. We'll go underneath with a wrap or two, and then we'll perk right back on top. Kind of looks like a little Little bow tie. Alright, next red. Red. I'm going to grab that bucktail from the same location on the tail. Kind of closer to the tip than the base. Again, sparse as narce. I'll clean that out. Alright. Got bucktail everywhere. Stack that up a little bit. Tips down. Alright. Gonna match that at the back end. That looks pretty good there. Nice and tight. Just a couple of wraps just to get that initial bite on it. And we're back to the yellers. Back to the yeller bucktail. You ever seen a yellow deer? Yep, sure have. Well, the internet is blowing up again. The fly has returned, this time to the Supreme Court hearing, whatever it's called. First it was at the debate, now it's at the hearing. What do you do? Keep your flies on the bench, that's what I say. Why does Washington, D.C. have this big fly problem? Or wherever the debate was had a fly. I guess it is happening all over, but not here. It was windy as all get up today. You could not be a fly and stick around in the neighborhood. All right. I'm liking the look of that. And this is one of those flies. Guess what? One of those streamers. Don't crowd the eye. If you crowd the eye, then, well, you know what happens. Like I just did. I definitely crowded it. And I'm going to get a ledge. Oh, maybe I can salvage that just a little bit. Yeah, it's going to be whatever it is. Nice and tight. Yeah, a little bit of a bump up front. A little bit of a cliff, but we'll work our way through that. With some thoughtful, methodical thread wraps. Nice and tight. Get right back here, and we'll give our couple of wraps underneath. Gonna pull forward a little bit after you do that. That'll help that wing post up a little bit. All right, I think we did good. You done did good. And now for my next illusion, we're gonna change our head from red to black. Another little dab. Alright, this one ended up with just a wee bit bigger of a head. I definitely crowded, didn't quite give myself enough room. I started too forward when I tied that first batch of yellow in, but I think we survived. If I do see my shelf, nice and tight. And a close trim. Alright. Alright, a little head cement up front. Yeah, where'd Mr. Bodkin go? I'm going to put it on my bodkin, because if I went right off of the brush, I might leach onto the brush, the black off of the marker. Really work that in there, work that in there. Spread it around. It wants to do its thing, it'll do it. Alright, here we go. We'll set it in, forget it. Make sure nothing's kind of drippy droopy any which way. Yeah, buddy. I like it. One of the things you can't rush, time. I mean, it says on the bottle that it's a 10-second cure. And a lot of times you see people zap it for 2 seconds. Bada boom, bada bing. It's a classic, I say. It's a classic. It is a classic. I don't think there's any other way to say it. Alright, we'll tip scales, come over here, say hiya, hello. Looks like we got a few more of us in the house. We're up to this many. That'd be 7. 7 of us. Thank you all for tuning in. I always appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, Josh says we did do that bear wing. Couldn't find, for whatever reason we used bear. It was a Mickey fin with bear. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. One of the more recognized flies. Thank you. Thank you. Oz appreciates it. And this is how I tie it. You know, and it's by no means the only ways to tie it. There's a million ways. Not a million ways, but you know, everybody's got their own twist on a Mickey fin. It's almost to that status, you know, it's one of those patterns that it's like, gosh, it's a classic, it's a standard. What are you going to do anything to it? You can change colors, that's about it, but beyond that, there's not much you could really do to it that you're going to do it much harm. I'm going to go with my next color combination. And it's kind of like my second favorite color. Well, it definitely falls in my favorite color category. I think that would be a green. Is chartreuse green? Do you consider chartreuse green? Let me know in the comments. Is chartreuse green or is it yellow? Or is it in between? I don't know. Like always, you tell me. Alright, we're going to come in with our next one. Our next Mickey fin. Where are we at for time? 6:55. Yeah, we'll just roll right into it. Just adjust the headset. I've never been a fan of headphones and things squishing my head, but it is what it is. It's not what it's not. I'll tell you that for free. Alright, let's go ahead, get this camera off of my face, and just back onto the vise. Alrighty then. Let's set this guy off to the side. And let's see. Hooks. TMC's 93.95, size 4s. That's what I got for us tonight. Very comparable in shape and size, actually, to these barbless moonlets, size 2s, but I kind of just want to time on these. I really like that bend. Alright, so instead of going with a red thread and red butt end, we're going to turn it up a notch. We're going to switch it over to our chartreuse. Right, chartreuse. Wow, that's hot. 210 flat waxed. I like it, you love it. We'll do the same thing. We'll start up front and we'll lay ourselves a nice little thread base. Work our way down yon bend. Alright. We might have to go back and forth maybe once or twice back here, just on account of it being so almost translucent. Really get that laying down nice and flat. Mind that tip of that hook. Not quite to the 9 o'clock position. You know what? We're just gonna send it. Just gonna send it. Alright, wire. Medium wire. I wish I had an electric yellow wire, but do I? Don't I? I don't think I do. No. And if I did, it would be extra small. Alright, we're going to stick with our medium silver. Just a UTC wire. Alright, I'm going to stretch that out. It's right about where I started the thread. Nice tight wraps. We'll tie it in on the side of the shank. Nice and flat. Excellent. And that's where we're gonna... I just crowded the eye a little bit too much on that last one as far as... I don't know. I think I did. Work our way back. Here we go. Right between the tip of the hook, tip of the barb. right about halfway. That's about right where that bend starts. And you'll find that to be the case amongst a lot of hooks. Not all hooks, but a lot of hooks. The bends will start approximately between the tip of the hook and the tip of the barb. Alright. Let's grab our Flashaboo. And we'll grab our small little clump. 6/8 strands or so. Keep it nice and clean. Sometimes there's always the one that gets away. Go ahead, wet your fingertips. It gets them, clumps it all together. Just a little dab of saliva, not too much. You don't need to get it all slurpy. But we'll tie this in nice and flat, working our way forward. Say, ooh, that's nice. Alright, here we go. This is actually the hard part. Laying this first couple of wraps. Sometimes it likes to get split up on you. There we go, we are gravy. And we'll just take our slightly overlapping wraps, working our way from the rear to the front. You'll find that sweet spot for that angle. You'll find that if you don't move it forward enough, things just kind of bunch and clump and it just doesn't work right. And if you go too far forward with each wrap, then you'll leave gaps. We don't want to do that. Not necessarily. I mean, that could be what you're going for, but the odds are nay. Secure that down. Perfecto. I like that. Alright, here we go. Counter wraps. Nice and even. All right. Give that a nice close trim. A medium wire is going to be awfully a lot of work to just try to helicopter off. Alright, here we go. Let's go with our wing. That's the sound of me getting old, having to stretch for things. Alright, let's go. We're going to do our chartreuse and black. All right. Chartreuse. And I am thinking about doing What do you think? Do I do chartreuse on the... I think I do a chartreuse on the inside. Or I do a... All right, I'm at a crossroads, folks. Let me know in the chat. Do I do chartreuse, black chartreuse? We'll call that CBC. Or do we do black with a chartreuse stripe in the middle? And we'll call that BCB. CBC or BCB? What do you say? I'm really kind of on the fence. I mean, we'll end up doing both. You know what? We could do both. Bucktail doesn't have that much length to it, but we're going to do both. Black and then yellow chartreuse. I think that might be our kind of having that lighter on the inside, or do we want that black streak? Decisions. I don't think I'll ever know. Chartreuse, black chartreuse. Josh was the first one to speak up, therefore Josh wins. Thanks, Josh. We'll start with that one, and we'll probably do the inverse after this. We'll start with this one though. How about that wind today? That's why you don't do your leaves right away. Hopefully they'll blow over to your neighbors. See, if you get all that underfur and all that junk out of there, then when we go to tie this in, lime green? What do you mean? Lime green. Not colorblind. I don't get it, Dave. Dave, I got a question for you, man. How the heck did you go fishing today in all that wind? Plan B. I guess plan B must have been a lake. Or somewhere. You couldn't have been in a lake. You would have blown all the way across it. Either that or that's something from before. That's just a little too dense. I'll thin that out just a little bit. All right. Let's go just a touch longer. Like that, right about there. 1, 2. You can tell that's from a little bit lower on the hide because it's just got that much more flare. All right, we'll touch a little bit of black in there. Give her a little black strip. Little chartreuse hair in there, but that'll be all right. Here we go. It's interesting. I just got a notification of another YouTube channel going live right now. And it's like, wow, how crazy is that? I'm doing a live stream and I'm receiving notifications of other live streams. Oh, and speaking of live streams, today, 4 years ago on Facebook, I did my very first in front of the camera live stream. 4 years ago today, started live streaming, tying flies. Tied a little bit before then, but I just early on I just decided to kick the camera on and share my journey with everybody, and then it just kind of became a teachable moment. I like that. Let's see, we gave ourselves a lot more room this time. Oh, the CB, CBC, CDD, CBD. That's for glaucoma, isn't it? Alright, we'll do our angled cut. And we'll tie this guy down. Ooh la la. Looks like I got one and a random hanging out down there. See ya. That was a little premature to pop that over. There we go. Couple of wraps nice and tight. Alright. I'm going to go over this once more. Right about there. Just kind of even that head out. Alright. And I'm thinking about going with the black head again. So I'll just give myself a little bit of thread and my black marker. Kind of like doing it this way opposed to just painting it on afterwards, because I really get to see, it's really neat to see sometimes, see the thread actually get laid on and, you know, filling, I don't know, it's just like progress made. And good enough. Plenty of room on there. Just got to look for a little bit back there for the whip finish. And we can definitely tell this has got a little bit more puff, a little bit more flair to it compared to the yellow. So not all bucktail is the same. Hear me now, believe me later. Or believe me now. It's up to you. Here we go. Just another little, tiny little dab. Set it and forget it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. It looks fishy if you ask me. But it's not the original. It's not. It's just not the same. There's something about that yellow and red, man. There's just something about it. All right. Hook in the vise. Where'd my hooks go? I always set my hooks down somewhere else. All right. All right, we're going to take a very quick pause for the cause. I will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Alright, we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for the final push of the evening. Here we are. I had to stand up and stretch my back. These headphones are squishing on my... Maybe it's because my head's so big? I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I don't think I have a big head. Then again, usually people that have big heads don't think that anyways. Alright. Let's continue on the push for the Mickey fin. Boom, 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 boom. There it is. Get my ugly mug out of there. And let's get down, get down. Let's switch back to that red thread. Oh wait, no. We were going to do the inverse. See what we like better, having the chartreuse on the inside or the outside. Only one way to really find out. That's to find out. Work our way down the bend. Oh, I heard that. I don't know. Looks good to me. Looks good for my house. Swell from my basement. Alright. Take your time. Even Steven. That's what we're looking for. And we'll work our way back. I think this is why, one of the reasons why I really like the flat wax thread is how flat it can lay and how waxed it is. There we go. It's tinsel time! Bong bong. I don't have anything for tinsel time. Can't encroach on the hackle time bell. That just wouldn't be appropriate. I guess it's not even tinsel time. It's just flash time. Just some boring Flashaboo. But it's Silver Flashaboo. Silver Flashaboo number 6901. For a stock number. Part number. Right there, 6901. Don't have to take my word for it. Ba-doot-doot. Alright, let's get this Flashaboo tied in. And work our way forward. Bingo. Alright. Moisten that up. Give it a pinch, lay it down nice and flat. And we'll palmer this forward. Looks like we got one straggler hanging out. Not really a straggler, but he's in the rear with the gear. But as long as we keep it at the same... Here it is, all caught up now. We're all caught up. Give it a nice... in between your fingers, let it stretch. Not really stretching, but let it slide and slip between your fingertips as we slowly advance forward. I like that. Ooh, that was intense. Intense. Alright, here we go. Got a nice close trim. And then we can just start wrapping our wire forward. Wire. Counter wraps. We're going to wrap this the opposite direction as we just did that tinsel. Our Flashaboo. Shazam. Alright, now for my next trick, we're going to do our black, and then we're going to do our chartreuse in the middle. It'll look like what's her, Elvira or whatever, look like a monster or whatever, with a streak running through the middle. I don't know. Alright, just like before, kind of grab it towards the tips, and we're going to clean all the under fur, all the junk out, all the garbage. And we'll give this a little alignment in the hair stacker. Make sure you got it cleaned out. Alright, tips down. I'll just kind of spiral that in. Got our just a tick pass, just about a gap's width. Alright, let's find our chartreuse. And remember, this is gonna give me a little bit more flair than the black. It's not gonna take much, because boy, that's just gonna light up like a Willie P. Who knows Willie P? Ever seen Willie P? I've never seen it up close, but I've seen what Willie P can do. Turned on me. Alright, we got a major minor. Oh, we just pulled it all out. Alright. Well, since I'm holding it both in my hand. Ay, 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 ay. And I kind of maintained it. We're just going to tie it both in at once. Here, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Shh, don't tell nobody. And that's the reality is, you know, I don't know. Tying flies, it's an adventure. And, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm sitting here with the camera on and showing y'all how to do it. But, you know, it's kind of, you ever tie a fly all by yourself and not show anybody? It's kind of like catching a fish and not taking a picture. I don't know. I catch lots of fish and don't take pictures. Well, yes, I catch a lot of fish and don't take pictures. I could just say I catch fish and don't take pictures. But I always try to catch a picture. Take a picture of my first catch. Because, I don't know. Tell I'm getting tired. My technique and skills are starting to get sloppy. But we did leave ourselves plenty of room up front. Come on, get bite on there. Here we go. Boy, I don't know. Do we leave the head chartreuse or do we go black on that? I think we go black. everything else thus far, we've done that. That'll just leave us with a little just a little bit of, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just black out that head. And we'll do that one more time. I think that'll work. Oh, we lost it. We popped it. I'm going to get it just a little bit more on there. And then take another wrap or two. Yeah, Dave, good recovery. The thing is, mistakes are good because you learn to recover from them. You know, I've got a lot of battle scars on my body. I've made a lot of mistakes, but that's made me who I am today. And you know, you learn to break thread, you learn to make thread. It's never really the end of a fly. And you know, the thing is unless you're making them for a competition or a showroom or a gift, don't sweat it too bad. Still, always take pride in your work, but I mean, there's a certain point where it's just we're doing it for the fish. We're doing it for ourselves. And if you yourself are getting the enjoyment out of it, and later you can yam it down a fish's mouth, even the mo better. Alright. That really gives us some good color on that too. That chartreuse kind of lighten up on the inside. The chartreuse kind of bleeds through on the head. I like it. Still not the original though. That's alright. So with the chartreuse and black, there we go. I mean, from a distance, does it really matter? I don't know. I think they're going to love it. I think they're going to love it. In fact, I know they're going to love it. I don't got much choice. Well, they do. They'll let me know, but I don't know. I guess there's a reason why this pattern, I don't know. There's just something I love about the black or the red and yellow Mickey fin. It makes sense. It's logical. It looks good too. Let's take a dive. Let's see. Alright. Alright, we're going to take official guesses on what the next color combination is going to be. And I already have it out. I'm already pulling it. It's not a request, it's a guess. What do you think it's going to be? If I was me, which I am, what would I do? Well, I'll tell you what for free. We're going to start with our hook. Alright. We're looking at 93.95s, TMCs. That's a 4x long shank, 3x heavy wire. So it's not a teapot, not short and stout. Like a streamer hook, long and stout. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright, we're going to switch back to our red thread. Because we like that. We're going to go with that little red tag end. Or, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. So the red and yellow being the original color. And then we have the imagination being your limitation color scheme. If you have the bucktail, might as well try it. It doesn't take much. That's the beauty of the fly is, you know, I hope you guys are starting to see some of the pattern, a pattern in the patterns that I like to tie and what I like to fish. And it didn't take me long, but I'm to the point where it's just I'm done with the complex, overly, it's just so much work into that dang gum fly. What's the point? And I'm now, if you are an artist and you are going for the super fancy salmon fly that you got, you know, married stacked wings and it takes you 3.5 months to tie one fly, that's absolutely beautiful artwork. And I think that is a phenomenal rabbit hole to go down. And, you know, it's beautiful. It's artwork. There's no other way to say it. It's functional artwork. This, I guess you could say, is functional artwork, but you know, something at that level, I think, is just absolutely stunning. So, I don't know. I like to keep it simple, stupid. I like to keep it simple, stupid. Sparse as nice. It all begins with a simple wrap of thread. Imagination is your only limitation. Be kind, rewind. What are some of your favorite sayings that I come up with on the stupid live streams? I say a lot of crazy things. Ooh, red and white. Close, no cigar though. Red and white would have been a good. You know, I wish I would have thought of that, but I'm already dedicated. I'm already dedicated on my next color combo. And when I say I'm dedicated, it's sitting in front of me, opposed to still in the bag. Sparse as narce. Little dab will glue ya. See, it's a little dab will glue ya. Not a little dab will do ya. A little dab will glue ya. A little bit of insurance policy, the secret sauce. And of course, it's always hackle time somewhere. Alright, where are we? We are doing our sliver. Alright. A little bit of flashaboo. Silver flashaboo. I guess that's another thing we could have changed. We could have changed our body color. Could have done a lot of different things. Could have went with I guess if you're using flashaboo, you have all sorts of color options, opposed to just sticking with a flat mylar, whatever tinsel might be a little bit restrictive as far as what you can get your hands on as far as colors. But let's go ahead and wrap this forward. La da da da. And we'll kind of space that out. Slightly overlapping wraps. And we're just milking it, keeping it smooth and flat as we wrap. Not twisting. Like I said earlier, if you try to do this with hackle pliers, it really wouldn't work out in your benefit. Might be a little bit easier to grab onto initially, I guess, maybe. But as things kind of stretch as you wrap, things are going at different, I don't know, different lengths, different speeds, different RPMs. It's kind of like the penny on the record player. Some are moving at a certain speed, but they're all going at the same revolutions relative to each other. Craziness, I know. Here we go. Run this ribbon forward. Medium UTC I got on here. And like I said, like I will always say, this is not the way, this is a way. I'm not even going to say it's my way because it's the way I'm tying it right here today, tonight, to now. If I find myself in a different circumstance, I might tie it slightly different. Even though it's the same fly. Bing. Alright, here we go. Alright. We are going with, we're going to do an olive and white. We'll do a little olive for the outer and the upper, or the upper and the lower, and then we're going to do a white stripe in the middle. If you can see it behind that, in front of that green background. I will say olive is another top color of mine. Who is it? just a tick longer. All right, we'll add a little splash of white. And we'll, giggles and grins, we'll knock that on the table. All right, and our last little touch of olive. And another reason why you don't want to tie this with butt section or super flared out deer hair is you're not gonna get it to sink as easy. If you got a lot of floatable deer hair, kind of counteracts the action of the streamer. Alright, give it a couple wraps right underneath. And when I wrap, I'm pulling forward at an angle. Really just kind of tripping that wing up and out just a little bit. Alright, as much as I want to, boy, I'm going to tie a couple more of this and I might do a couple redheads. But to keep it with the other theme, we'll just do a black head on there, I guess. Get it all. Go back up just a little bit. There we go. I like it. Whip finish. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. I like it. I like it. I like it. There it is. And we'll seal this off with a little bit of Solares Bone Dry. That's a beautiful looking front end. I like the olive and white. I like the red and yellow. I like the chartreuse and black. I think we did good tonight. I think we did good. Let me know what your favorite was. The traditional, the olive, or the chartreuse. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the original. But I don't know. Where did I put it? Where did I put them? Yeah. Anyways, I think that's gonna take us right to 8 o'clock here. I think we did did good. We got one vote for the traditional. Who knows what we're gonna do next week? I don't know. I'll think of something, I'm sure. I need to bump this down just a little bit. There we go. And it slowly settles. But that's going to be it for tonight. Let's go ahead and flip our thing over to here. And we will do our wrap up. We'll do our thank you for watching. Let's see. Next week it'll be October 21st day. Then in 10 more days it'll be Happy Halloween. So, as always, I thank you all for joining me tonight. We do this every Wednesday from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock Central. I always appreciate people's comments. Be sure to, as they say, smash that like button. Hit that thumbs up. I always appreciate it. Leave me a comment sometime throughout the week. I always appreciate y'all's comments. I read all one of them that come every week. But no, it's we're doing good. We're having fun. Hope you all enjoyed the Mickey Finn. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So, yeah. Oh, we got one vote for chartreuse. One vote traditional, one vote chartreuse. Alright, we're going to leave it at that. So, thank y'all for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, everybody. Happy tying. Yeah, sure you betcha. Tight lines. Peace.